Okay, cool. So yeah, like Elijah said, the first part of this meeting that we're going to talk about is a little bit our goals for this semester and hopefully next semester also. So the big thing is we really want to be a source of information to you guys, whether it be about physical therapy, um, like he also mentioned, different opportunities and things like that. Um, and some of the other things we plan on covering at some point in some capacity is what are the different specialties within PT, whether it be orthopedics, neurologics, pediatrics, things like that, different settings, how each PT program is different from another because some of them share a lot of prereq requirements, but Cal State Long Beach and Chapman may have one or two classes that are very different. And we want to make you guys aware of that because, you know, you don't want to set yourself up to only be able to apply to one school and then the rest not, you know, take your classes or whatever. So we want to talk about those things, how each program could potentially be different in terms of class size, potential emphasis, and things like that. And also other potential things outside of physical therapy because, you know, sometimes plans change or, you know, you realize you're not as into the field as you think. I think we're working to get someone from Pacific Northwest University, their admissions, to come talk to us about their occupational therapy program. It's pretty similar to PT. I'm not sure exactly how different. I haven't looked too much into it. And yeah, different volunteer opportunities and other things along the line, just really related to physical therapy. And then let's see, what was the next slide? So yeah, in that vein, the first thing that we're going to talk about is what is physical therapy. And if you were to go to the APTA website, which is basically the overseer of physical therapy, their definition of it was or is physical therapists are movement experts who improve quality of life through prescribed exercise, hands-on care, and patient education. And basically what that means is, you know, physical therapists, they try to improve how you move, how you function, how you live your life without medicine, without invasive surgeries and things like that. Goals of the therapist might vary depending on the setting you're in. You know, if you're orthopedics, it's going to be a lot more exercise based. If you're neurologic, it's going to be a lot of retraining certain functions and stuff like that. The goals and outcomes are going to be different depending on the settings. And it's honestly really cool to see when you dive into it a little bit. Let's see. So yeah, why physical therapy? I think the biggest thing that most physical therapists I've interacted with are able to really speak very highly of is the relationships they're able to form with their patients, because a lot of the time with PT, you're interacting one-on-one with them, you're talking about them, you're learning, you know, their struggles and all that kind of stuff. And you really get to have that follow-up, seeing them once, twice, or maybe even 3 times a week, versus medical doctors, you get to see them once every few months, once every year for a physical. It's a bit different, that sense, how much you get to interact with everybody. The other thing is there's a lot of different settings you can work with. So if you like athletes, if you like children, if you like working in a hospital setting, if you wanted to work in a private practice, which is just another facility that people choose to go to, things like that. There's a lot of populations, there's a lot of age ranges, and a lot of things. It's a very diverse field that everyone finds their own little niche to work in that they all seem to love at some point. Work-life balance, they get a lot of paperwork for sure when it comes to documenting for insurances and stuff. But everyone that I've interacted with that is a PT or in PT school, they do say how much of a difference it is between working in such a collaborative space versus just running from room to room, never seeing anybody but patients. There's a big separation there that everyone seems to really enjoy. Other specifics about that, I can't speak to. Hopefully our guest speaker PT that we do have planned is able to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, in PT school, going to be a lot of anatomy and a lot of biomechanics type of stuff, just to really get an idea of how people move, why they move the way they move, and all of those sort of things that you kind of all tie together. Um, I've heard it described as a big puzzle that they're trying to figure out, and I think that's pretty unique compared to most fields.
All right, so next we're going to talk about the opportunities the club has to offer at the moment. So one big thing that we have right now is the mentor-mentee program. This is just an opportunity for those who need guidance to get that kind of guidance, to learn about physical therapy, what it takes to get into school, how to become a more competitive applicant, or if you're looking to mentor others, if you really just want to help another student out, that is also another opportunity. So for this year, we do have some very good mentors, and this is very important for our first years because, going on to this endeavor is a very big deal. It's very overwhelming. And a lot of times, having someone to ask questions to, just answer anything you're pondering about will really help. Trust me, this program helps a lot. So we do have the form here, and then we're going to send out the PowerPoint later. If you do want to have a mentor, please sign up. If you do want to have a mentee, feel free to sign up. We have plenty of people who are interested, so yeah. And then next, we're going to talk about some volunteer and aid opportunities. So we have 3 right now. We have Harbor Physical Therapy, Roush Physical Therapy, and another location called Rehab Specialists. So I'm going to talk about Roush Physical Therapy first because that's personally where I work. It's located in Laguna Niguel. If you want to work here, it'll be as a part-time aide, and the preferred contact method is through email. So all you need to do is send your email to aaronk@roushpt.net. You don't need any experience. We'll train you on the spot, and it's a very fast-paced environment. So if you want to learn a lot, this is a really great opportunity to do so. And then for the rehab specialist location, they're also hiring aides, and they're also looking for volunteers. So if you're, just testing the waters, you don't really want to be an aide necessarily at the moment, you can go ahead and volunteer there. You just need to email the email we have listed here, scott@rehabspecialistsinc.net. And then Jaime, you can take the Harbor Physical Therapy.
Okay, yeah. So Harbor Physical Therapy is the clinic that I work at. It's an outpatient orthopedic setting, and we are always looking for new volunteers. And right now we are short-staffed, so we are looking for potential new aides. Especially if you guys do have availability Monday or Tuesdays, those are the days we're the shortest. It's like I said, it's an outpatient orthopedics clinic. In my opinion, this clinic, Harbor, is really unique because the guy who owns this clinic, he's one of the mentors for USC's residency program. So it's pretty cool to learn about that. But we will train you on the spot. There is no prior experience needed. If you were to reach out to us at this email, if you just mentioned you heard about us through the club, I'm sure that might help get a response a little bit faster. Or you could always reach out to me or Henley about different stuff, or any of us really. We should be able to hopefully answer some questions. But are there any questions on what we've gone over so far? I know it was kind of a lot in 10 minutes.
All right, so we can move on to the next part. So what's coming up next? We do have a second general meeting planned. On that one, we'll be talking about different schools, not just Cal State Long Beach. We'll be talking about the prereqs, the requirements, the experience required to be a competitive applicant. And then we also, this is not really our event, but we do have something planned. We'll talk about that later. But CSULB is having a physical therapy info session just about the department because they recently remodeled. So if you're interested in that, you want to see what physical therapy is all about, what kind of resources they have, you can go ahead and attend there. The link is embedded on this text. So we'll send out the PowerPoint. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact us. And yeah, do you guys have any questions? All right, and that concludes the meeting. So we'll stick around for a couple minutes in case anyone has any questions. If you're interested in either Harbor Physical Therapy or Rush Physical Therapy, please go ahead and let Jaime and I know. We can help you out with that process. You can just email directly to these contacts. And yeah, that is all for today. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out, taking initiative, learning about physical therapy. It's great.
I actually wanted to ask something really quickly. I've talked to the Dr. Jeff Rodriguez, who's in charge of the information sessions and is a part of the admissions board for Long Beach's PT program. I've kind of briefly talked to him about possibly scheduling a tour for us outside of what's on the school website. And I just want to know if anyone here is potentially, if we get it scheduled a little bit in advance, if Monday afternoons or Friday mornings is more ideal, just so we can get a feel for what's the status of everyone here, I guess, because we want to get as many people there as we can. So yeah, if anyone wants to send it in the chat or unmute themselves. Few Monday afternoons. Okay, we got mostly Monday afternoons. I'm not exactly sure what the times would be. I think I'd have to talk to him about that a little bit more. He just mentioned Monday afternoon, so I think probably around 1 or so, possibly, but I'm not too certain. But okay, Monday afternoon seems like the big thing. And for those of you that did say Friday mornings, I don't know if you guys have classes, but like that last slide of the PowerPoint did say, that tour date, October 7th, is a Friday at, I think, 9 a.m. If you guys wanted to look into that. But okay, got it. I had a feeling Monday morning or Monday afternoons would be a little bit. Usually they're like an hour or maybe a little more like 2 hours long, because he goes into what are the specific prereqs of Cal State Long Beach, what little things you can do to kind of set yourself apart. And then we get a very brief tour of the different facilities on campus. Yeah, Henley just sent the link to the information sessions page.
Yeah, and just as like a note, he did change the date. So it's no longer October 7th, it's October 14th.
Oh, okay. So he pushed it back a week. But yeah, it's around 2 hours, I think, usually. I think it gets a little bit longer depending on how many people are asking questions and things like that. But yeah, usually 2-ish hours is about how long it is. Let's see. Any other questions?
I had a question on the PT clinic that you guys are saying that you guys could help to get us in.
Yeah.
Right now I'm studying for GRE and just trying to prepare for that. And I'm hoping that I could do the PT thing hopefully next semester or start by the winter break. Do you think are you guys like, could you help me like much later on that? Or should I be speaking to like the next board members, right?
So do you mean like do you want to work later on? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. Because right now I want to get that GRE finished.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, we'll probably I'm speaking just for my setting specifically. Roush Physical Therapy, it's a really big clinic. There's like 10, 15 physical therapists, so aides are constantly cycling out. By that time, there's a pretty high chance that we'll still be hiring. And what about you, Jaime?
Yeah, it's we'll definitely be able to help you out this semester or next semester. We are the board members for this academic year. So for this fall and next spring, we'll be the board members. So you can reach out to us at any time. And yeah, clinics and aides are always cycling through people. So it's not going to be very hard to get those opportunities whenever you do decide to take that chance. It's really just a matter of asking, and most places are very friendly. So
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem. And just another thing. So those experiences that we listed aren't exclusive for the whole semester, right? We will have more opportunities coming later on. In the spring, it'll be the same kind of thing. So if you're more available during spring, maybe we'll have different opportunities. And if you do want to, what I could do is I could talk to the manager and then see if we could kind of reserve a spot or something for you later in the spring. It's totally up to you. If you want, you can contact me or contact us through our club email. Yeah, so just let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Right, sure.
another, let me see. Henley, am I able to share my screen really quick?
Yeah, let me see. Yes.
Just because I was looking,
And
I
you should be able
realized,
to.
okay, cool. So when it comes out to PT clinics, when I say that most are very friendly, I really do mean it. Like I'll show you guys my email right now. I sent this to Harbor, where I currently work at, my very first semester of college with nothing on it. Okay, desktop. I don't know how this stuff works. This was the only email I sent. No text, no nothing, no introducing myself. Just a really crappy resume from when I was barely 18 years old. Um, and they were more than happy to reach out to me and get me scheduled and trained. And I've been working there for 2 years now. Um, most places are very friendly and they will work with you. It's just a matter of reaching out to them because, like I said, mine had no message, nothing. And I stumbled into a really great opportunity. So it's just a matter of just taking that chance because, like we said, everywhere always needs new aides and stuff. So yeah, just definitely send a message with your email. Don't do what I did because not very smart looking back on that.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to ask, you know. All right. So if there are no more.
Sorry, could
Oh,
you
sorry.
pull up the window with the emails on it again? Or sorry, the page with the emails on it?
Oh, yeah. Got you. Give me 1 second. And then I could also send those into the chat as well. Oh, I think there's a typo in this one. Give me 1 sec. I think that should be it. Yeah.
Does anyone else know of any other clinics or anything that are looking for new volunteers or aides that they want to just throw out there to possibly help somebody out?
Honestly, the place where I worked at, like California Rehab and Sports Therapy, they have like different locations. They have like one in like Mission Viejo where I worked at. They have one in Long Beach. They are usually pretty good about accepting like volunteers. And then once you start off as a volunteer, they kind of move you up to an aide position. So it's like pretty common to like move up. So I would say like if you can't find a job, at least start like volunteering like once a week, like testing it, and then you can probably get the aid job like really easily where you like volunteered.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's how I started off. I just started volunteering very early on and then I got offered a job. So yeah, if you guys don't really feel confident about becoming an aide, you can shadow, volunteer, and then you'll work up from there.
And then I know like I got hired through like Indeed, so maybe like check there. Sometimes they're pretty good about like responding through there.
Yeah, and like Pushti and Henley kind of talked about, volunteering is a super cool experience because you get to know if you like a clinic before you commit to working there. There's where I've been at, we've had a lot of volunteers who were there for a month and then we're like, nope, this isn't working and just left. Every clinic has a different like setup to it and structure. So it's just a matter of finding what's the best fit for you. I know a lot of places, each therapist is kind of like assigned an aide for the shift. Where I'm at, that's not the case, and a lot of people don't like it. I enjoy that setup, so I think it also just comes down to figuring out what you like, and like let's see, Natalie in the chat, she mentioned California Therapy Solutions as a pretty easy process to get hired as an aide there for more experience. But it's definitely just reaching out to different places and seeing what you guys do or don't like, because there's a lot of different ways to structure a place, structure a clinic. So it's definitely just taking that shot and seeing what works and doesn't. So.
All right, does anyone else have anything to add? This is great, yeah. Thank you for sharing, Natalie. If you guys ever do have opportunities that you'd like to share with, other PT students, please feel free to send them to us. We would really appreciate it.
I had a question about like, what do you guys do as a physical therapy aide?
So when you're an aide, you basically help patients with treatment, right? So typically what will happen is physical therapists will do the manual treatment, they'll diagnose the patient with whatever issues they have, and then you'll get assigned that patient, and they'll create some exercises, like an exercise chart. You'll walk them through that, and then you'll work through some modalities. Like, for example, some patients need ice and stim, other patients need heat or laser. All that stuff is really important for the recovery process. So being an aide is a really good opportunity just to see how physical therapy works. And I think I can speak for everyone here, Pushti, Jaime, anyone who's been an aide. Being an aide is a really, really amazing opportunity to learn and to grow your passion, about science. So, yeah.
Yeah, just to like double down on what Henley said, it's a lot of exercises that you'll typically be going throughout the day with different patients. It's a lot of, at least where I work at, a lot of little things that we'll mess with to make an exercise more efficient and stuff like that. So you'll learn a lot of different things. You use a lot of anatomy, at least where I'm at, a lot of anatomy. And yeah, different clinics have different type of modalities. Like Henley mentioned, ice and stim. At my clinic, we use a lot of heat and this kind of newer thing called H-wave. All types of stuff, and it's going to kind of vary from other settings. I know the aide who originally trained me, he's at a new clinic now, and he says they have, as aides at his new place, they do a lot of paperwork and filing and stuff like that. So that's asked of you at different clinics also. But yeah, so it's a pretty broad range of stuff, honestly.
And then I saw on the Harbor physical therapy, it says like sports medicine. So do you work with athletes there, or is it like a range of people?
So we do get some athletes every once in a while. Not many super like impressive athletes, but we will get high school soccer players. Some, I think we've had a couple of college football players, and stuff like that. But it's mostly a general orthopedic place. So a lot of older geriatric patients, a lot of surgeries and stuff like that. We see a very broad range of things because, like I kind of mentioned, the PT who owns Harbor, he's been a PT for 30 years and is very well known. So a lot of people seek him out specifically. We've got a pretty broad array of cases that we've seen. Like I know last summer, we had we had a patient that had an amputated leg. So she was learning how to use her prosthetics and stuff like that. And, different clinics have a lot of different things that they'll kind of specialize in. And we're going to talk about that in probably our third meeting, I think, maybe. I'm not too sure. But yeah, not as many athletes as the name kind of makes it sound, but it's still a pretty cool place in my opinion. So
where is it out of? Where's the clinic at?
It's in San Pedro, so a little bit of a drive from campus and depending on where you live. But it's right off of the 110 when you get to San Pedro, like right where the 110 ends, it's basically there. So yeah.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess another thing, Henley and I kind of talked about potentially when we're having an in-person meeting, having a day kind of just practicing very common PT exercises. because especially for the first years, probably haven't seen many of them or heard of them, or even as third and fourth years, if you haven't taken that step into getting into certain clinics, the exposure helps a lot. And so we're hoping on having one of those meetings hopefully soon too.
All right, does anyone else have any other questions? Anything we can help you with? All right, so yeah, I think that can conclude our meeting for today. If you do have any questions you want to ask just in private, feel free to stay and you can ask. If not, feel free to leave. Yeah, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
I have a
Yeah.
question. How much do you get paid as a physical therapy aide?
Oh, so I think that's that's one downside to being an aide. You get paid minimum wage typically. I know I've heard of some places that pay up to $25. That's a pretty rare thing, very rare. But typically, yeah, it'll be 15 to 16, and then there's some leeway there, maybe 17, but that's typically the range.
Yeah, where I'm at, we all just about make 15 an hour. I think one girl makes 17 because she's our lead aide. So yeah, she makes 17. It's not the greatest paying job in the world, but for me personally, I could say it's mostly about the experience aspect of things. But I also know everyone else has different needs and stuff. So that is the downside. Like Henley said, it's not a very great paying job.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, so if you are worried about like money versus experience, like you don't have to weigh one over the other. Physical therapy schools don't necessarily care if you're an aide or if you're volunteer. So if you do volunteer, right, they weigh those hours equally. So volunteering versus aiding, there's not much of a difference. Really, it's more for you to learn, I would say. Like Jaime said, it's an experience kind of job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thank you guys. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, Tanzi's here.
Hi, yeah, sorry, it took me like way longer than expected to come back from my class. So I just joined like a few minutes while you guys were talking about PT aid and like answering the questions. So.
Oh, it's all good. It's not a big deal. Sujal and Harrison, do you guys have anything to comment on, ask?
Oh no, we're just looking at clinics right now. Our bad.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We're just looking at clinics right now, looking over which one we should do. I don't know
Oh,
if Harbor
okay.
or Rosh is like, I don't know which one to choose between, you know?
Yeah, they're both pretty similar. Mine's also an orthopedic outpatient, but I think it's just like a larger, like literally physically larger
Yeah,
and more staff.
probably a very good guess.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to kind of consider is the drive for you. It doesn't make sense to drive an hour to get there, So yeah, I think whichever is probably most close to you. But PT clinics are really easy to find for the most part. I feel like there's one on almost every other corner. So you probably don't have to look super far to find one that's really close to you if transportation is a barrier that you might have.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about that. So I'm currently dorming at a CSULB and I don't have a car. So all these clinics are, I don't know, maybe like a 20 to 40-minute drive from me.
Yeah.
Do you think that there'd be like any workaround for that? Or
Ooh. I mean, I guess one possibility could be, at least for my clinic, a few of us are at Cal State Long Beach. So I don't know, maybe by some weird luck, you could end up being really good friends with someone and carpool with them. But that's not a guarantee. Like Henley mentioned, in future meetings, we're going to talk about other clinics that are closer. Like I know on Bellflower and Stearns, I think it is, there's a Southland Physical Therapy. That's a good clinic too. and I'm pretty sure they accept volunteers if you wanted to look into there. And yeah, I think we're gonna possibly post some more about that kind of stuff in the future, or for sure have more clinics in future slides that are a little bit closer to Long Beach also. Because yeah, transportation is a big hurdle.
For sure. Another question. So, is the main point of these meetings just to give exposure to clinics that need, I don't know, volunteers and aides? Or are there going to be like other topics that are discussed in these meetings?
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about different topics, not just those things. So the volunteering and aiding stuff is kind of more of like a bonus. So, well, not necessarily a bonus. It's just if you are looking for those opportunities, we are an avenue for that. We're just one way. I think for your situation, Sujal, you don't necessarily have to work at either one of our clinics. You can search for one pretty close to your house. They're, like Jaime said, they're pretty all over the place. Like for me, there's like 2 clinics down the street, you know, and those are within walking distance. So maybe there's a clinic like that for you. And usually they're open for volunteering and aiding and stuff. So you can just give them a call. They won't mind.
All right, for sure. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
No problem.
Yeah, in a future meeting, I think in a few weeks, we do plan on having a guest speaker that's a PT, and I think she's going to bring a PTA, a PT assistant with her. We're going to talk about like PT school prereqs and stuff like that, because that can kind of get confusing, and how to like maneuver different school sites, because some schools have really weird layouts for things. But yeah, we're going to try and keep it pretty broad and looking at multiple schools, not just Cal State Long Beach and stuff like that, to hopefully just give decent exposure to the whole picture, I guess. Yeah.
Are you guys
All
like
right, sounds
together
good.
right now?
No,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
no. Yeah, I was just about to leave. Thank you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.